Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. One of the persons that I am continually amazed at and wondering about who supports him. Who supports this man known as Trump? It amazes me that anybody can find anything in him that is interesting enough to believe in. And so, for many years, I've watched the left wing actually talk more about him, the MSNBCs and CNNs of this world. And occasionally I have a quick look at Newsmax and other organisations to see what they're saying, I mean, even Fox News from time to time. And I'm continually amazed that a man who has the history that this man has is still believed and is still supported. And who are those people that are supporting him? I guess one could be disingenuous and just call them morons. One could also say that they are misguided, that they are unable to think logically about events, and that they're able to make excuses for a man who has the most horrific and disgusting of behaviours. And anybody, no matter what side of politics a person sits on, if they behave like Donald Trump, I just would not support them. Just could not support them. It doesn't matter. This is not a partisan thing. This is about identifying a man who behaves so badly all the time and has the worst possible policies, if you could call them that. They're just talking points. They're not policies as such. And who had the most horrific history when he was President of the United States. And why do they support him? Well, I decided that I'd have a look at a more independent set of information that came via a speech he gave on the 24th of this month. And some of this speech I find horrific. And I just want us to look at, so this is by Forbes incidentally, but this is just him speaking. And I wanted to play a clip of one of his speeches because a lot of what he says is hyperbolic, it's without fact, it is just riffing on stuff that just flows into this vacuous mind of his and has no real meaning whatsoever. But people lap it up for some reason. So they're not interested in facts, they're not interested in reality, they're just interested in the crazy things that this man says. If any other politician said the things that he said, they would be dragged across the coals. If Biden said 1/8 of the things that Donald Trump says, he would be castrated by the right-wing media. But no, not this guy. Teflon Don seems to get away with it over and over again. And I am amazed at the number of people that do want to support this man. And as I said before, this is not about being partisan. This is about simply looking at what the man is saying. Have a look at his behaviour and the things that he says, and one will realise that he's crazy, dude. There's no other way of putting it. So I'll just play this clip from about the first few minutes. I won't bore you with the whole lot. But he says enough just in the first few minutes for us to think, well, this man's kind of off his rocker. Don't love the way he looks. He looks like a friggin' frog, you know? And I'm happy to take the piss out of him because he is, seriously, I believe, one of the most revolting persons on this planet.
Thank you, Gordon. The first and most urgent action when we win will be the sealing of the border, stopping the invasion, drill, baby, drill, send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We'll do all of those things, and we're going to have to do them fast because no country can sustain what's happening in our country. You look at New York, where I originally came from. I love New York. And you take a look at what's happening. Hundreds of...
Can someone just fact check all of this for me? Because I doubt whether anything that he's saying here is actually true.
Thousands of people. They've taken over the streets, Madison Avenue. They've taken over Queens. They've taken over Brooklyn and the Bronx. They've taken over the whole city.
Who are these people? Who are these people that he's talking about that have taken over this city? It's almost like New York has never had immigrants until now. New York is full of immigrants. It is an immigrant city. It is one which people are attracted to make their fortune and to reach the American dream, whatever that friggin' is.
The little leaguers can't play anymore because people are there that
What's that all about? The little leaguers can't play.
can't play. But it took longer than I thought, but I predicted this. It's called the migrant crime. And it's
So here we go. So the migrants are the reasons why there's crime. In New York, there are obviously, according to Donald Trump, no other criminals apart from migrants.
far more deadly than anybody thought. They will actually have fistfights with police in the middle of the street. You saw that the other day, where they attack police. Even our bad criminals, they never had fistfights with. No, they do things and
No, they shoot people and bribe people. That's what they do in New York. You moron.
they talk and they shout. But these guys are actually, and you know,
They talk and they shout. I mean, sorry about keep breaking into this, but I can't believe the things that he says and that people just accept it. So criminals only talk and they shout. Well, I don't think the mafia necessarily just talked and shouted. I mean, they indulged in a wee bit of violence, I suspect.
the interesting thing, in their country, if they ever did that, they'd be dead within seconds. They'd be dead. I know where they come from. I know the people that run those countries. I know the presidents and the dictators. I know every one of them. Some are dictators, some are prime ministers. But they're tough guys. They're tough guys. And those thugs that gave the middle finger to our police and then started fighting them and actually threw two of them down and started beating the hell out of them, although they fought back bravely, the two. But these are tough people, and they know that in their country they'd be dead within minutes. They would be dead as a doornail within minutes.
So the question we need to be asking here is, what's he proposing? Well, he's proposing that if people are breaking the law, and he did say something about shoplifters some time back, so if people break minor laws, then we have the right to be able to shoot them. If people disagree with Trump and his policies or disagree with him, he will have a right to lock them up. So the man is not only a demagogue, he is friggin' dangerous. And I can't understand why anybody would want to support somebody who is so flagrantly dishonest and who definitely wants to damage society and to restrict the freedoms that we all, in all democratic societies, take for granted. So I'll just play a little bit more of this so that you can be bored silly from the crap that this man talks about.
And so they came over here. So it took a long time, but now it's talking. Now you're seeing it. It's migrant crime. It's a new category of crime. And I wanted to call it Biden migrant.
So it's migrant crime. So now all crime is migrant related somehow. And so there's this continual attack on people that are trying to seek a better way of life. I find this sort of discussion, well, it's hardly a discussion, but it's horrific to think that this is what some of the policies this particular man are.
Crime, but it's too long. So we just call it migrant crime. We have a new category, migrant crime, and it's going to be
We don't have a new category, you just made it up, you dick.
more severe than violent crime and crime as we knew it. Because we have millions and millions of people, and they came from prisons and jails. They came from
There's so much bullshit in that, it's not even worth commenting on, really.
mental institutions and insane asylums. No, they're not.
So he's reiterating the stuff that he reiterated back in 2015 and 16 when he was running for president. He's back to those talking points again. All the issues that are created in the United States are about migrants. So what interests me here is that there are no policy discussions around anything that is relevant to the American people. And the thing that disturbs me the most is that most countries around the world are fearful of what's going to happen in the United States and how his policies or ideas, I don't think he has any policies, he doesn't have any ideology either, but the things he talks about, dispensing with the US's involvement in NATO, certainly getting rid of the funding for the United Nations, and a whole range of other significant issues that help the world to function as it does, are going to be eradicated by this man. And people will be locked up. He will get his DOJ, he'll get people in place who will lock up those people who disagree with him. And that includes the Bidens, Kamala Harris. It would be anybody that stood in his way. And also the media will be targeted by this man as well. So you'll find that MSNBC, ABC, CNN, and other media networks, right or left, if they disagree with him, they will have their licenses suspended, or will have some sort of way of suspending their activities. So the bottom line is, he's friggin' dangerous, and I have made very few posts on Donald Trump because he's just so friggin' irritating. But I decided to make this one because it's been quite a while since I have, and I just needed to get it out there that the man's a crazy individual, and that if America elects him as a democracy, you are in peril, you will fall, and it'll take decades and decades, if not generations, for you to recover. So subscribe to my channel, let me know what you think, and ring the bell for further notifications. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.